Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I'm gonna give you my top 4 league start tips for everyone. The literal hours of time can be saved in preparation. So today I'm gonna share with you 4 most important things that you should be doing if you haven't done them already before the league start. Number 1 is going to be preparing your stash tabs. So if you didn't know, the stash tabs in standard, and don't pay attention to all of this, I don't clear my stash tabs in standard. The stash tabs in standard are going to be what applies to your trade league. So if you're playing in hardcore, then in hardcore standard you should check this. If you're playing in Soul Self-Found softcore, then in Soul Self-Found softcore standard league you should be doing this. What I mean is, color code them, name them, order them, put everything as you need. If your stash tabs in standard are just completely random and unordered, this is how you're gonna start the league. So you're gonna have to put everything in place. You're gonna have to name your tabs, move them to the right place, create folders if you're using them, and all of that stuff is you're gonna spend a lot of time. I'm gonna share with you my system and what I'm doing. So first of all, I have a dump tab because in the beginning I'm not even really like sorting anything. I just have dump tab for like, I find a 4 link potentially that I want to wear in case I'm gonna swap my gear and my 4 link is gonna be wrong. I just put it in the dump tab, right? Whatever in the beginning that I'm like using for leveling, potentially an upgrade, goes into the dump tab. Then we've got the currency tab. Then we've got the heist gear. This is something that I'm gonna actually not be doing next league, so I'm literally moving this away. This is gonna go in here, and this is just a quad tab that can rot here until I need it. Other than that, I have chaos recipe setup. So for chaos recipe, I'm using a very simple setup. What I'm doing is I have armor, weapons, helmet, gloves, boots, jewelry. That's how I drop stuff, right? I basically drop stuff here, and the sizes of this are basically fitting the amount that I'm gonna be using here, right? The amount of like items, because you know, armor and weapons are gonna be bigger. Helmets, gloves, boots, you only need one of them. Same with jewelry, they're very small. And then basically what I do is I just go click 2 of these, 4 small weapons, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of each stuff, like for the jewelry, and then I trade that. Then I come back here and I go again here, pick up the jewelry, pick up the boots, pick up gloves, pick up helmet, weapon, armor, and then I just trade it again, and I get like 4 chaos, 4 chaos, 4 chaos, just by very efficiently doing the chaos recipe. And you can just clearly see what you have and what you're missing without having to use any external tools or anything like that. It takes very little time, it's very efficient. Then I have crafting. So if I have some bases for crafting, if I'm intending on crafting, I'm gonna just dump them here. Then I have maps and secondary map stuff, right? So this is some cool artifacts from the past. But if I have like, I don't know, let's say like memories, right? Or things that are like map related, but don't really fit into any other specific tab, but it's map related, I'm gonna drop it here. Then I have trade, right? So for trade, we got prices set up 19, 29, 49. This is for the beginning of the league. It's going to be very low prices for like super cheap stuff at the very beginning, so I don't have to you know, manually like think about like how am I pricing this and so on. Just remember that in the league these are gonna be not public yet. You're gonna have to right click and set them to public if you want. They're gonna be just like named as 1 chaos, but they're not gonna be public yet, so you need to set them to public in the new league. What else we got? Then we've got the shop is gonna be where I'm just randomly like custom priced items are gonna be put. Then I have fragments, essences. So this is something that I'm gonna have to have quick access to, so I don't want to like scroll to search for this. Then I got some fossils, we got daily stuff, catalyst, oil, diff cards. We've got uniques, uniques too. So some uniques are gonna have like duplicates, right? Let's say you find like Le Hoop and then you have another Le Hoop. It doesn't go into your unique tab. I put it in the second unique tab, right? Just a regular tab. And then we got flasks as well, gems, and then I have stuff for leveling. So if I have like some twink items for leveling, I'm gonna put them in here, and then I'm gonna be able to level multiple characters without having to search for these items and wonder where they are, right? And then extra tabs if I need extra dump tabs, if the league mechanic requires them, if I need to like put some heist contracts in them or some random stuff, that's what I'm gonna have here. So that's how I set this up. That is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is going to be to prepare a loot filter. Loot filter is huge. It's gonna speed up your leveling, it's gonna help you map faster, it's gonna just help you with everything. Definitely go and customize your loot filter. I have my own loot filters that have almost 3,000 changes, right? So I'm using a bunch of different loot filters. If you want to use my loot filters, I share them on the Patreon, right, with my Patreon supporters, so you can find that in here. This is usually how it looks like at the beginning of the league. I post my loot filters, I say what changes I made, I also update this on Discord, and I drop the sound files because we're using some custom sound files, and I usually have like a leveling filter for bows, for melee, for caster or summoner. Also had a peacock leveling filter, and then I have a mapping semi-strict, which is going to be for chaos recipe, and then strict mapping for after the chaos recipe. That's going to hide all of the rares that we don't need anymore. And that's what I'm going to start with. And then as the league goes on, I'm going to post quick updates with like stricter and stricter versions as my mapping strategy becomes more and more juiced and I pick up less stuff. And that's what I recommend you prepare as well. Prepare for yourself a leveling filter, prepare for yourself a mapping filter, or include that in the leveling filter. And then after that, have a stricter filter for after the chaos recipe that is already prepared, so you can just swap to it and just immediately start blasting. Definitely test them before, level them before, and then update as the league goes on. When the filter blade gets updated, when Neversink finishes, and a couple of people who are helping him finish this, you're gonna be able to just like basically open your filter, like load it into the filter blade. It's gonna update to the newest league, and you're gonna be able to use it. And you can just customize so many different things. I definitely recommend becoming familiar with loot filters or using somebody's loot filters that are going to be well prepared for your strategy. The next thing is the Atlas trees and POB. So for Atlas trees, again, this is something that's going to save you so much time. If you have pre-prepared Atlas trees, I have a couple of them. They're going to be in the description. They're also something that I talked about in the previous video, but this is going to save you a huge amount of time. Just not having to think about this. Like everybody has POB, right? Everybody has like the passive skill tree for POB, and everybody knows that they should follow something here, but not everybody has actual Atlas trees that they have like predetermined, and so they spend these first few points randomly, and then they look up the tree and they're, oh shit, I have to respec, right? And now you waste currency, and you waste time that you could have otherwise spent doing something else. So all of these things add up. So definitely have a couple of trees prepared for your starting strategies, and then also for the POB, have like a clear path how you're going to be leveling. Practice this before you're going to be playing it, right? If you already know what build you're going to be playing, I definitely recommend just practicing it and making sure that you know more or less what you're going to be doing. And same thing with the skills, right? Skills for leveling, knowing like how to transition, knowing which sockets you're gonna need. For example, for this build, a very important thing is to look for green, green, red, right? Especially for a shield, because you're gonna transition to it, and then you need to start using shield charge, but you don't have sockets for it, right? And if you practice, then you're gonna know better like when to look for this, and that's something that you can also put in your filter, right? This is something that, for example, I'm gonna be doing right after I finish recording this video. I'm gonna be updating my filters in order to include this for the shield charge leveling for the witch, because this is what we're doing currently. So definitely make sure that you prepare POB with specific plans, so you don't have to spend time like wondering where is it better to go here first, is it better to go here first. Have it all preset ahead of time, and that's gonna save you literal hours of time. And then the next thing, the tip number 4 that I recommend is to have trade searches pre-prepared. There are so many, like, definitely get the better trading extension, or just use a system of bookmarks. This is basically a bookmark extension, and make sure that you have this stuff prepared, right? So for heist, I had, for example, searches for +1 to all jobs generic, right? So this is, for example, for +1 to all jobs or heist, and I would look if there is something really cheap or if I should craft it myself, right? So I can super quickly search relevant things that I need, right? If for TR Raider, for my build, I had stuff prepared here, like for example, torrents like reclamation with movement speed and extra other corruptions, right? I can click this immediately and see if there is something available on the trade, right? Quill Rain, right? Quill Rain with 5 sockets, for example, because you can see Quill Rain is like 3 chaos, 5 linked at the beginning of the league would be costing much more, but a 5 socket without 5 link would be much cheaper, and that would be something that I can 5 link myself, right? So like smart searches like that you can have pre-prepared are massive, right? I have div cards that I was flipping. I have flasks, so I don't have to look for each specific flask. Different searches like that are super useful. Jewels, right? So for like whatever like jewel you need in order to enable your build, this is something that you should should have pre-prepared, and this is gonna save you hours and hours of time. And then as the league starts, you can just start running live searches and have a few live searches going so that you can be first, you can have better deals, you will save time because you will have the searches pre-prepared, you will save money and time because you will be able to snipe better deals. So this is something really important, and you should prepare this specifically for your build and for your strategy. So this is not something that you can really find anywhere unless you're like one-to-one copying somebody else's strategy, but definitely should prepare them for yourself. So those would be the 4 tips, right? Stash tabs, prepare your stash tabs, get a good filter, make sure that your POB and Atlas tree are pre-prepared so you don't have to think about them while you are already playing after the league has started, and then make sure to pre-prepare the trade searches. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you next time.